Broadcasting from the world famous LWDL studio, this is Life with Dan and Lewis. I'm Dan.
And I'm Lewis.
And we're here to talk about life and all the wonderful, magical, horrible, awful, fantastic stuff inside that four-letter word.
Life.
Before we get too far in, if you hear anything you like today, feel free to go over to buymeacoffee.com/LWDL. Your support is greatly appreciated for this little adventure we are on.
We thank you for all your support.
Hey, it's good to see you.
Good to see you also.
How was your week?
It was pretty good. Not bad.
Okay.
Not
uneventful, maybe?
too busy.
Oh, special music for no reason.
Yeah, I mean, it happens.
Yeah.
Wednesday was a welcome week for my daughter back to school. So
that's kind of fun.
We got to take her to school for from 7:45 until about maybe 10:30, 10:45.
So sort of kind of a half day.
Yeah. And it just went through the parents of like the normal routine of what happens, you know.
Right.
And it was first for me because my daughter was able to attend this last year due to late registration for her.
Right.
And also
COVID.
Everybody in the house getting COVID.
Yeah.
-1.
Aiden never got.
Never. He's COVID free and, just living his life.
Super immune.
Yeah. And then
now that we said that, he's going to be the one that brings it back.
He's going to sleep outside.
He's going to get it and pass it all to you guys, and I'm going to end up with it again.
Fudge.
That's how it's going to work next time.
Fudge.
No, that's pessimistic thinking. We should be optimistic about the situation.
We're not going to get it again.
That's right.
We're forever cured.
It's in our past.
It's in the past. But yeah, so it was pretty good. Work life was good.
Good.
Outside life was good. Hit the gym.
Nice.
4 days this week.
Good stuff.
And so I'm not doing cardio. I'm waiting I'm about 154 pounds right now.
Have you noticed it start to trick back up?
Yes.
Okay.
I noticed I have been building a lot of muscle weight. Mm-hmm. And I noticed I've been building a lot of muscle mass.
Right.
I see a difference in my body already. Mm-hmm. And I think that's pretty much due to the fact that I have a low fat content.
Yeah, your body fat's already low. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so it's easier for my body to be more defined. Mm-hmm. By even working out a week, I was able to see like different body profile differences and stuff like that. So I've been doing that. I think Friday night is the only night I took off.
Wow. Okay.
Saturday may go down to the county gym.
Sure.
Hit it hard for about maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours, mm-hmm. and get some because they have a plethora of different machines there to use than I do at my apartment complex.
Right.
So I maybe try to hit that and then just go from there. But other than that, like this week was just pretty good, easy selling. I was telling one of my ADAs mm-hmm. that you and I have been having the same for pretty much since the summertime. It's just coasting.
Yeah, just on cruise control.
Yeah, it's just people think, do you have anything planned? Nope, just coasting.
Yeah.
Cruise control, that's where we're at right now.
Yeah.
So what about you? How was your week?
Yeah, kind of the same here. Today was my third day at the gym. I'm going to hit again tomorrow, and that'll be 4 days this week.
Nice.
Yeah, just kind of normal. I did have some craziness today. I almost got into a head-on collision.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. So you know how when you're at the grocery store and maybe you'll like turn around a corner and you'll be going at someone with the grocery cart and you sort of do like the awkward, like which way someone's going to go.
Yeah.
And you pass each other and you go, and you just keep walking.
Yeah.
It's not that funny when it happens in a car.
Oh.
So I was getting ready to go over the highway, sort of coming in the back way. So going over 410.
Okay.
Down there. So someone had come off the, be eastbound. Mm-hmm. And then you have to go right to go down that back street to my house, or you go left, you go over the bridge, and that takes you out towards like Lowe's and H-E-B and all that.
Yes.
So I was coming from Lowe's and H-E-B. So I got right to where you'd turn right to go on the westbound frontage road.
Yes.
Or you'd go onto that like 2-lane bridge mm-hmm. that takes you over. And right as I get to that 2-lane bridge, there is someone coming at me in my lane, fully in my lane. And it's marked, double yellow line, middle of the road. And it's like relatively newly marked.
Wow.
And he was just coming right at me. And I did not know what to do. You can't swerve right. That's your instinct. Your instinct is to go right. Because that's like where you should be, towards the right of cars coming at you.
Exactly.
I couldn't go right. I didn't want to go left into the other lane. But he was coming right at me and I was beeping my horn and he was looking at me and he wasn't slowing down. I was slowing down. And then so I had to like make, quickly assess the situation, and the people behind him had seen what was going on. So now they had slowed off. Mm-hmm. So I was able to go in the left lane and go head on with someone else, but that person was aware of what was going on. So they had almost come to a complete stop. And I was just like beating my horn. He was all sorry. And it's like kept going.
All nonchalant?
On like, UK style, passing me on the wrong side of the car.
And were there people behind you?
I have no idea. I honestly have no idea.
Wow. And
I don't think I looked in my mirrors once.
And how fast would you say that he was going?
I was probably doing 40 at the start of the incident. And when I passed him, probably 15 or 10.
Okay.
But he was probably going 30 the whole time. Like he didn't seem to slow down. It was very bizarre. And like there was no one in his direction of travel was in front of him that was preventing him from going into his own lane, or behind him preventing him from going into his own lane.
He just
and
decided.
Everyone, 2 or 3 cars behind him. So the guy that was immediately behind him in the proper lane was the one that slowed down enough for me to go around him in the wrong way of travel. And then the 2 cars behind them had completely stopped. They were just going to sit and wait and let it play out.
Yeah.
And then so once I got like around him, they went, and then everything was fine. But that was I mean, and like when I first went to go into the left lane, like I like did like a little jerk, and he did it too, and I was like, fuck, I'm not playing that game with this.
Yeah.
So I just did it like I went. I just like, I'm going in this lane. Because I wasn't going to do this like, it's cute in a shopping cart.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
not cute in cars on a 2-lane bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a little bit scary. That's never happened to me before. I've never had anything even close to that.
I don't even know what to say in regards to that. That's just
it was wild. Yeah.
Nonetheless, I'm at a loss for words. I don't even know what I would have done. And given the fact that you're in an SUV, I'm in a sports car.
He was in a SUV crossover type situation as well.
Younger, older,
not middle-aged.
Not somebody that shouldn't be on the road.
No, he wasn't what you would call a blue hair. No, this was he was probably in his 50s.
Okay.
Normal looking Hispanic guy in a very average car. I mean, nothing seemed abnormal about the situation.
No reason for him not to be in his right lane.
No. Other than he got off that frontage road, and I don't even know what he was thinking, because there's not a lot of time when you turn off a frontage road that the road that you turn onto is also only one direction.
Correct.
I guess maybe if you're doing a turnaround, maybe you thought it was a turnaround? Like where it's isolated from traffic, so you stay to the inside? I don't know. But it had clearly yellow lines. And like when you go to make the left turn, I guess maybe he didn't look. Because you should be looking both ways, because you are actually crossing traffic to make that left turn. Because it's actually a road that the frontage road just happens to end at. So you have to turn either left or right. So you should be watching traffic, which should also indicate that it's a 2-way road. I don't know. You have to be very unaware of your situation to think that was a 1-way road. I don't know. Wow. I can't really explain it.
Yeah, there's our minds are just going.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. Well,
that was wild.
Thankfully, you're okay. Mm-hmm, It was a crazy day, but thankfully,
no harm, no foul, really. Yeah.
Right? We're here together.
But just think, if for some reason there had been cars in the lane of travel, I wouldn't be able to go to the left.
No.
Hopefully, he would have just stopped.
You would think.
But I don't know. Yeah.
I would think, as you had to go into a lane that you're not supposed to be in, that he would have also reduced speed and just stopped, allow you to stay in your lane while he made the decision to get into his right lane.
There's a possibility that when we both went to go to my left, his right, if I would have gone back right, he might have done that. But it was close enough that I wasn't going to. I needed to make a commitment.
At that point in time, it's just don't take the risk.
There was no one to hit in the left lane. He was in the right lane. So yeah. I mean, probably, I don't know, less than 5 seconds away from hitting him. I mean, it was a lot going on. It was yeah.
Yeah. At that point, I think you made the right decision.
Right.
You went into the lane that was least worry, and
I figured that I'm beeping my horn, so anyone else behind him is probably hearing this, and if they're looking in front of them, they're seeing this.
Yeah.
So there's a greater likelihood of them slowing down than of him making the last minute right decision to get back in his lane.
True.
So I just had to gamble a little bit there. And
yeah.
So it didn't feel right going into the left lane and passing some. Like it felt very wrong.
Yeah.
All my American driving experience, I've never passed someone coming the opposite direction in each other's lanes. That was the first time I've ever done that.
And it worked out in your favor.
Yeah. I hope they never do that again, because that kind of rattled me a little bit.
Yeah, I can see that. I think I would have pooped myself a little bit.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, I pulled in the driveway and I was like, that was an eventful ride.
Right. And it's one of those things where you just sit there and you just like replay what happened to you in the last 5 minutes and just be like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
And you just take it all in and be like, all right, I'm going to get out of my car now and go inside.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
And I'm not driving anymore for the rest of the night.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
Like you're saying, really, really thankful it all worked out, and, no harm, no foul, really. Just,
True.
I'm glad I had the presence of mind to do what I did, and that ultimately he just decided to, do what he did. So we all ended up all right.
True.
Other than that, really the only thing I have going on, or I've been thinking about this week, and it's a gripe about Texas, and it's that there's no such thing as a cool shower right now.
There really isn't.
Yeah. Even putting, the water on, in the shower, just what should be just cool. The water isn't cool enough to cool down the trickle of warm or hot you get in that, right? Because you can't, in a shower with the one nozzle, you can't really get just straight up cold. You always got to get a little bit of mixing.
Yeah.
But when that water that is cold is actually hot, when it mixes with the hot, it's not reducing the temperature at all.
Especially when you have the one knob that it's the higher the pressure gets.
Yep.
The hotter it gets. So if you want cold, like the pressure is like super low.
Yeah. I can't get a cold shower right now. Like if my water temperature set to just what would be warm in the winter is hot. Like I just can't right now. It kind of makes me want to rip out the valve set and put in a 2 temperature valve set.
Yeah.
Because I'd rather have a trickle of cool or warm than hot. I mean, I just coming home from the gym, I just want to take a cool shower and I just can't.
Yeah. Given that sometimes I'm leaving the gym, and which is right there by the pool. The pool has been closed lately due to maintenance.
Oh.
Last time I went in there, the foundation have shifted, and so there's like a more than a hairline fracture going through the cement.
Oh wow!
And so I gather that they're ripping that up and redoing it, save it from a trip hazard.
Right.
But there's sometimes I'm coming from the gym, you really get into it, you work up the nice sweat, and then you leave the gym, your body temperature, your core temperature is already up, and then you hit, which is 8, 9 o'clock at night, and it's still 100 degrees in South Texas.
Yep.
And you see a nice pool right there. The thing that you want to do is just jump in.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's closed.
I guess I could take a shower at the gym. I don't typically like to do that, but that might...
I find nothing's better than taking a nice, a nice shower at your own place.
Exactly.
Because even when your body is still, your core temperature
feels nice.
It's still hot. I want to be honest. Sometimes I walk around my bedroom naked, and I dry myself off. But just getting out of a shower, my core temperature is already hot.
Yeah.
And then having a ceiling fan going and getting a nice air hitting your body.
I agree.
It kind of cools you down rapidly, but it just makes your body feel so good.
Yeah.
And I'm not opposed to taking a shower at the gym if you have to. If you have to get back to work, or you have to get to an appointment, or you have to go somewhere else afterwards, you don't want to smell sweaty or whatnot. But there's one thing about just like taking a nice shower at home and then just being comfortable afterwards.
The gym shower is a functional thing.
Yeah.
Not a relaxing thing.
Correct.
Right.
It's more functional.
And I have a really hard time wanting to get into the sauna at the gym after a workout. In the winter, I kind of like the idea of a sauna. Like sometimes I actually like the idea of a sauna before a workout. Get in there, get your temperature up, and then go do your workout. But in the summer, man, I just have a hard time wanting to do that. So I just don't.
Might as well just sit outside in your car and wrap a whole bunch of wet blankets around you, and then just boil yourself to death or almost to death, and then get out and go inside the gym.
Right.
I think we figured out a new way to do a sauna in South Texas. Just wrap yourself in some wet blankets and sit in your car for 5 minutes.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. So overall week was good. Kind of crazy end, but all is well that ends well.
There you go.
So, it's all good.
That's always a plus.
Hey, so we have some articles and we have some things in our first segment and our second segment today. And one of the things in our first segment that I wanted to talk about is the idea of this podcast or any podcast as a small business. And I guess this would be classified as maybe a behind the scenes peek for the viewers, or just something to think about. And I want to make this not that we're complaining. Mm-hmm. Or that we're asking for help, or that kind of thing, but just that in working on the podcast, podcasts are funny, right? And they're funny in a variety of ways as a small business. So most small businesses and most businesses have a product, right? And you sell that product, and the person gives you money, and you give them the product, and they go away. Mm-hmm. Now, they might come back and return that product because it wasn't what they wanted. They didn't like it, but that's a small percentage, right?
Correct.
So in general, I produce a product. You give me money. I give you the product.
Correct.
Well, in podcasting, this is our product, this thing that we're making right now. And we give this thing away before we're paid. Mm-hmm. And most of the time we're not paid.
Correct.
So then it talks about, we think about how could we get paid? Well, advertising. Mm-hmm. So we could be on a platform that inserts ads before and after and even in the middle of our podcast. But that requires to be at a certain viewership level.
Correct.
So what are viewerships? Viewerships are products that we've given away. Mm-hmm. So in order to get to a level in which we can be paid for our product, we have to give away our product a lot. So I said we weren't going to complain about this and we weren't going to ask for help, but there is a way you could help us that doesn't hurt anyone here. And how you can help us is liking, sharing, and subscribing to our podcast.
Yeah.
Because the more people that do that, the more it will get shared in the algorithm, and the more we can grow our viewership to get to that next level so that we can begin to have ads on this. Now, as a viewer, you think, I don't want to listen to it if it has ads on it. Well, there's a way around that too. If you're watching on YouTube, you can buy YouTube Premium. And then if there were ads in our videos, a share of your monthly subscription would go to us to replace the revenue that we would get from you watching our ads.
Correct.
Now, if we're going to talk about ads in the audio podcast, whether you're listening to that on Spotify or Google Podcasts or Apple Podcasts or any of the other podcast apps that use any of those RSS feeds, there's not a whole lot we can do about that. What we could do is, if we had enough subscribers, we could switch to a platform in which you would pay before you got the content, something like a Patreon or an OnlyFans, something along that line.
Correct.
Well, what was typically called a premium podcast, and that is one where someone subscribes to your podcast for a fee, and in return for that fee, they get a product. Much more traditional business model.
Correct.
So it just had me thinking how things are interesting, and it's not. The podcast isn't expensive to make. Are there overhead costs? Yes. We have to pay for a service that hosts our podcast. And in our case, that's Buzzsprout. You hear us talk about it every time. Check us out, lwdl.buzzsprout.com. Buzzsprout is the company that hosts our podcast. So they give us space to put our episodes on.
Yes.
Now, luckily, YouTube does not charge to host content on it.
Thankfully.
Right. So we're able to put our video content on there, and all the socials don't charge for our shorts, so we don't have any expense there. So we have the website expense, and then we have expense for the stuff that it takes to make this podcast.
Correct.
So the stuff behind us, the lights that are around us,
microphones,
everything. And this may look like a lot of stuff, but we acquired this over the last 2 years.
Correct.
And some of it is older than that, stuff that I acquired in a previous life.
Yeah. And
our original microphones were from a project I did after high school.
And all of it is really just to make the quality good for our viewers and listeners.
So could we do what we do just recording on the one iPhone and just that audio? Absolutely.
Of course.
But the audio would be horrendous and no one would listen to us, and we'd never be able to grow to the next platform that allows us to then get paid for what we do.
Yeah, because, as we were sharing earlier tonight, we're already having people on Instagram, making comments on our posts. We already have people on TikTok making comments on our posts. Where, we're reaching people, that don't even live in America.
Sure.
And,
earlier I said, one way you can help us by liking, subscribing and all that, but it's also interacting with us on all the social media. So that's on Facebook, on Instagram, on X, on TikTok. and on YouTube, either on our full length video or our shorts, the more interaction we get, the more our content gets shared to other people that also have similar interactions.
Correct.
So, and that what I just described there is what is broadly referred to as the algorithm.
Yes.
Right. It's all about getting into the algorithm. So, this isn't and we're not complaining, right? If this was a complaint, we wouldn't be doing this. We enjoy doing this podcast, and we enjoy getting it out to those of you that are loyal listeners. But we want to take it to the next level, and that's what we're trying to do here.
And I guess we're not complaining. It's just simply a request of, hey, like, share, and
it's a request, and it's a request both for those the likes, shares, subscribing, interacting, but it's also a request to think about this podcast as a good, or as a service, or as a thing. You wouldn't go to the taco stand and get tacos every day and then know you're going to have to pay for it a year from now.
Correct. Because in our podcast, we aim probably 99.9% of the time we come up with articles, we come up with different things. Sometimes we come up with like silly stuff and things like that. But most of the time we come up with stuff that is going to help and better you as an individual and you as a person. And that's why we always say, like, hey, if you guys come up with any ideas or something that we should talk about, shoot us an email. Like, let us know. Like, we'll be more willing to do some more research on it and put it on the podcast because we're all, as we encourage one another, you and I, we figured, hey, why don't we take the encouragement that we share with one another whenever an issue arises and spread that with others? And so that's what we're really here for. And
the other part of it is that there isn't a lot of talk radio type content anymore.
Correct.
And I think we fill a niche that a lot of people enjoy.
Yeah.
So I'd like people that enjoy this to continue to share us and get us to more people that would enjoy this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of podcasts out there, but so many of them are very specific about topics, and we are very generalized, in more of a talk radio format.
Yeah. And as you're talking, on my way to work, I listened to a certain radio station, and I hate when they're talking and they're like, oh, we got to go to commercial break.
Right.
And we got to get to, and then by the time they come back on the air and start talking about it, I'm at work and I'm walking into work and I can't listen to it anymore. Of course, I can pull it up on my phone, but then that's just going to defeat the purpose. But with our podcast, is like you said, if you subscribe to YouTube Premium, you bypass whatever advertisement, whatever.
Yeah, once we can get to that advertisement level, that would already get you past those ads. So and if we do ever get to the point where we are monetizing, putting advertisements into our audio podcasts, you can rest assured that it wouldn't be every 5 minutes.
Correct.
We're talking about an ad up front, an ad in the break, and an ad at the end.
Correct.
The other way we can make money is by sponsors. And we ask for that every single episode. If you are interested in a sponsor, we are actively pursuing sponsorships with people, companies, other podcasts, anything.
Yeah.
And what that would look like, it could be something as simple as ad sharing. Mm-hmm. So we'll run an ad on our show, you run an ad on your show.
Correct.
That kind of stuff. Or it could be more complex, as you pay us a certain amount of money, and we'll talk about your brand a certain amount of times. So there's more complex ways to do ad deals and sponsorships in that aspect.
Correct.
And another thing we didn't talk about when we were talking about the cost of the podcast, and this is not going to be a woe is us moment, but there's time in this too. Not just the time we take to record it, but the time we take to edit it, to put the shorts together, to post the shorts. There's time involved in this. Yeah. And it's all time that we're donating at this point.
Correct. And over the years, both you and I over the past years, both you and I subscribe to people on YouTube and other different platforms, and we watch them. And there's a lot of times to where certain individuals will go a day or two without posting a video.
Right.
And then their fan base will get upset. I'm like, hey, where's, our videos? And then they'll come back out and be like, hey, it takes time to edit. It takes time to make that, it's good enough for you to view and to listen to, and take out all the kinks and the mishaps and all the bloopers and stuff like that.
Not to mention life happens. You and I both had an experience earlier this year. We had very good intentions this year to post 100 episodes, and we might still get there.
Yeah.
But we had an issue earlier this year where we both got sick and sort of passed it back and forth a little bit, and just could not get healthy enough to get ahead.
Pretty much for like almost a month.
Yeah, it was 6 weeks of struggle.
Yeah.
That we went through. And again, this is not a woe is us. This is just podcasting as a small business is very different than any other kind of small business. I guess, and a lot of people then will say, "Oh, well, you're an artist." Well, what other artist gives away their work?
Exactly.
Artists. The struggling artist. That's a very common trope. But even the struggling artist, when he sells his painting, gets money for his painting.
Correct.
We don't,
Yeah.
at least not right now. And we'd like your help to get there.
Yeah. And I feel like this is more of the educational aspect behind, up and coming podcasters.
Right. And I don't want to, lecture our listeners and our viewers about this. That's not what this is. This is just a behind the sneak peek and an enlightenment. Not that you need enlightened. And a glimpse into, or an ask for you to change, or at least consider changing your view about what the podcast product looks like and how you interact with it. And this isn't just for us. This is for any podcast. Think about it, really. If you're an avid consumer of podcasts, you're getting a lot of free material. The least you could do is click some buttons.
Yeah.
So not just us, anyone that you like out there, click buttons, interact with them. The more interaction they get, the better it gets spread on the algorithm, and the more people that get to ultimately hear this stuff.
Yeah, it'll be great. We got paid by advertisers, advertisement companies, a product or whatever, but it'll mean more to us if just the interaction that we have with our fan base. Like,
there is an element of like emotional pay that we get from that when we interact with our fan base.
Correct.
Our listeners and our viewers.
Yeah.
So thank you for those of you that are out there. And if you could just do us the kindness, click some buttons, like, subscribe.
Definitely.
There is one way that we do ask for donations, and that's buymeacoffee.com. That's LWD or buymeacoffee.com/LWDL. Is that right? Is that the right link?
I believe so.
I'm gonna have to look it up, back up the script here. I never say it out of order. It's buymeacoffee.com/LWDL. And the idea behind that is there's a little button you can click, and it's a $5 donation to, quote, buy us a coffee. And we do greatly appreciate it for those of you that have done that. And if you feel so inclined, go over to do that. But that's above and beyond ask. The basic ask here is to like, subscribe, share, and interact with us on all the socials so that we can get out there into the algorithm and interact with even more people.
Definitely.
That plays nice into our next segment, and it's the same script we read every week about this. And that's that this is the place where we would tell you about our sponsors. But we don't have any. Maybe you can help us. Life with Dan and Lewis is actively looking for new brands, podcasts, people, and companies to partner with. If you're interested, drop us a note at lifewithdanandlewis@gmail.com.
That's lifewithdanandlewis@gmail.com.
We'd like to hear from you. After all, we are doing this for your entertainment. Drop us a note and let us know where you're listening from, or if you have any ideas for new segments, things you'd like to stop doing, do more of, less of, or anything at all, email us at lifewithdanandlewis@gmail.com.
Once again, that email is at lifewithdanandlewis@gmail.com.
And you can email us, you can talk to us on all the socials, however you want to interact with us. We are open for interaction.
Definitely.
All right, so in our second segment, I see you put a link in here. Is there some crazy Texas going on?
Oh yeah, some crazy
what's
Texas
what's going on down here in Texas?
Peggy Jones.
Peggy Jones.
Peggy Jones was out mowing her lawn with her husband. I gather that they have quite a large bit of property.
Okay.
She was in the back. Her husband was in the front. All of a sudden, snake falls out of the sky.
And she wasn't under trees. She was just out in the open, middle of the yard.
Out in the open.
Snake falls from the sky.
Snake falls from the sky, wraps itself around her arm, striking at her face, hitting her glasses several times. A few seconds later, a big ass hawk flies out of the sky and attacks the snake, also while ripping flesh from her arm.
Oh my God.
So pretty much, she was out mowing her lawn.
Uh-huh.
She was in probably the rural area of Texas.
Okay.
And a hawk had a snake and somehow dropped it. It lands on her arm. Very freak accident.
Right.
Drops on her arm because what are the odds?
Right.
The snake drops on her arm, continues to wrap itself around her arm while striking at her face. Thankfully, she had glasses on, so the snake, every strike was hitting her face.
Okay. Hitting the glasses, you mean?
Hitting the glasses. So she wasn't bitten by the snake at all. And then a few seconds later, the hawk comes down.
Determined to catch his prey.
Yeah. Cares nothing less about her.
Right.
But more so just wanted what it was going to eat, the snake.
Right.
So as it's trying to grab the snake, unfortunately, she gets cut up in the process because
Clawed
of
by its talons.
the talons and stuff, and rips from wrist to elbow.
That can be kind of dangerous. You got some big arteries there.
Oh yeah, definitely. And so, she had a lot of scarring, bruising, cutting, and everything. Thankfully, no major arteries were cut.
Okay.
Thankfully,
The hawk does escape with the snake,
it does.
and
So
then she goes to the hospital and they get her all patched up.
yeah, so the which a lot of people don't realize how big these birds are.
Yeah.
And she said the hawk was flapping his arms, and every time it flapped his arms, it was like hugging her.
Wow.
The wings were so big that it was like enclosing her within this whole thing. And she said it like came in and out 4 different times before finally grabbing a snake and pretty much ripping it off her arm.
Wow.
Because I do gather that the snake, every time the heart came in, was just wrapping tighter and tighter
Probably, yeah.
around her arm before just like able to like just ripping it off.
Right.
And so and I gather what really helped her was that she held her arm in like an upwards thing, so it just kind of like slipped off in a upwards
Sure.
motion. But yeah, she survived, had a few cuts and bruises and different lacerations and stuff. But what a freak story!
That's crazy, and it doesn't get much more Texas than that.
No, it
Snakes
really doesn't.
falling from skies.
Yeah, and
Snakes falling from the sky.
and and a good thing about it is the snake was poisonous
Yeah.
because once she gets
Venomous.
I'm sorry. The snake was venomous, and because once she gets to the hospital and they're examining her, they're looking for snake bites. They start her on anti-venom treatment because at this point in time nobody knows if she's gotten bitten,
Right.
and so they do find snake venom on her glasses.
Wow.
And
That's wild.
But come to find out, she didn't get not one snake bite at all.
Wow.
All the damage that was done was she did get bruising from the snake for wrapping itself around
Right.
her arm so tightly.
Sure.
She got bruising from that, but majority of the damage was done from
The hawk's talons and probably its beak and stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but what a freak accident, but probably once in a lifetime you'll hear a story about this.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So it is really common for, like if you have a body of water, to end up with fish in the body of water that are dropped there from birds.
Yes.
That's like super common in ponds and whatnot to get cross species movement from birds picking them up.
And dropping them.
Yeah. But I've never heard of a bird picking up a snake and dropping out a human. That's a first.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
I'm like, what vendetta did the hawk
Yeah,
have against
really.
the snake and humans?
Right. Wow. Madness. So I figured we'd wrap up this episode. And I say wrap up, but this is going to be a longer segment here. I thought we'd do a couple of ranker lists. So I thought we'd start with the best qualities in women.
Are there any?
Oh, wow. So the first couple I think make a lot of sense. That's honest, loyal, and supportive.
I can see that.
We move down to kind-hearted, loving. Now 5 and 6, loving and in love with me. Aren't they kind of the same thing?
No.
Okay.
No. You can be loving in a way of, I care about you.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to be safe. I, don't want any harm to come to you.
Okay.
And I just generally love you and loving towards you. Being in love with you takes it to the next level. And it's like, I'll do any and all things to make sure that you're safe, you're protected, all your needs are met. I'm giving of myself 100% to you. And it's you incorporate passion, all your needs, both physical, emotional, sexual, all your needs are met within this person that's in love with you. They want to live, and pretty much, yes, we do have outside things that we have to do, like as far as go to work, take care of family, whatever.
Sure.
But they live to make sure that you're taken care of and your needs are met, and everything that incorporates into you being satisfied as a human being, they're trying to meet those needs. I feel like that is me being in love with a person is I want to do all these things for them. Now,
Okay.
when you're just love a person or you're loving, it's just like, okay, you're safe, you're taken care of. I'm thankful that you're here, you're there, whatever the case, whatever that loving role is, it could be mother,
Okay.
spouse, sibling, whatever the case may
Friend.
be, friend. And it's just like, I'm loving, you okay, you're sick, let me text you, make sure you're okay.
Okay. I guess I get that. Yeah.
Being in love is just like, you're sick, okay, well, let me go to the store, let me make you some homemade soup, let me make sure that you have all your medicine, let me make sure you have all this, like, you have all that. I think that at a certain point of going from loving somebody to being in love with them, there's a different level of care or a different level of the way that they show that typical type of love towards the individual.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I understand that. Number 7, I think, is just a trait that everyone should have, and that's pleasant. that's kind of a baseline. I don't know if that needed to be this high or on this list at all.
I know, it's like you come after loving and being in love.
Loving and in love. Oh, they have to be pleasant.
Pleasant. I feel
Pleasant is just above like alive.
Yeah, it's like one of those couples that are just like you come home and just like, I see you made it home safely.
Right.
Okay, I guess. Yeah. Pleasant. Or
I don't think I've ever, when asked to describe, the perfect partner or the perfect friend or anything like that, describe your best trait. Pleasant would not be one that would come to mind for any of those. I'm really surprised that this high on this list.
I know we talk about I know we talk a lot about like it being a relationship minded, but like think about it. Loving, you love your job. Mm-hmm. You show up typically on time ish.
Okay.
Maybe. Being in love with your job, you're going to be there ahead of time. You're going to give your 100% all into that job.
Okay.
You're going to make it fun. You're going to find some passion there. Pleasant is just like, fuck this. I'll show up when I want to. You fire me? Oh, well, fuck it. I'm fired.
Yeah.
It's just like there's a different level.
I guess. Yeah. Yeah. So number 9 on the best traits of, or the best traits of women. Is that what this article was?
Yes.
Qualities in women. Number 9, friendly. Again, that kind of falls with pleasant. Like that's kind of a baseline requirement, but
yeah.
All right. Forgiving when it's called for. I like that is followed up with, when it's called for. So number 11 and 12, funny, patient, 13, respectful. I think these are all like reasonable.
Yeah.
14, thankful.
Thankful for me because I'm in your life.
Thankful is an interesting one. I don't know. Maybe appreciative or
it's like, and thankful. That's another one because like, what are you thankful for? Are you thankful that like the person's in your life? Are you thankful?
That's why I think appreciative is maybe the better way I would phrase that. Like you're appreciative of what the other person brings to the relationship.
Yeah,
that fits better than thankful.
Correct.
Although thankful as like an overall personality trait, I get that too. Like just thankful, for being in the position there is by whatever belief system they have. Thankful to God that God put them in this position. Thankful for all the blessings that they have in this life. That kind of thing. So I guess I do get that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna retract that. I actually like thankful the more I'm thinking about it. Hardworking, open-minded, confident. Confident's a huge one. Yeah, for me that's a huge one. I'm surprised that's that though down on the list at number 17 there. Number 18, again, we got some baseline things here. You got pleasant, friendly, well-groomed. That's just a baseline requirement for being a human, I think.
Typically.
So,
yeah.
What about moral? Again, not something I would think, but I think we'd put honest on a list. I think most people, if you said, 10 traits, I think honest would be on that list. I don't think moral would come up on that list very often, but I understand what they're coming from. There's difference in honesty and morality, and so moral. Maybe that's more important to some people, but I think a good sense of morals is important. So I guess it's not a bad bad one to be on the list. Number 20, attractive, and I don't like that on this list because I think attractive is very subjective.
Yes.
I think there's everyone has different tastes and different preferences and different things that they find attractive.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe attractive to me would be a good trait.
Yeah.
But again, that seems like something you should put on the list, because if this list is someone that you're seeing as a partner, of course they're going to be attractive to you. So I don't know. Interesting one there. We'll go through 25 here. So calm. I like that one.
Yeah.
Not for everyone though. Some people like high energy. So, I get that. Reliable. I like that a lot. Reliability is a big one for me. Nurturing. So that falls into that sort of loving category. Nurturing, caring, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Number 24, wise. I don't know that I would put wise on a list of traits for a potential partner, because I feel like wisdom is something that you grow, and you could definitely grow it together. So I don't know if you necessarily need to come into a relationship as wise.
Yeah. If this is on the list, I can see it being like further down on the list, but not in the top 25.
Yeah.
I would gather from the person who picked this for this summer, what is wise?
Right.
Like, how do you define wise in a trait of somebody?
Yeah, I think wise is ultimately, someone. Wise is a way to say has lots of experience and the ability to translate past experience into future decisions. That's what wise really is. I guess there's a little bit of intuition involved in wise, but yeah, I wouldn't include that on the list.
Yeah.
Number 25, generous. Yeah, I think it's a good trait just as a person. I don't know if I necessarily put that as a spousal trait, but I think it's good as a person. We'll talk about two bonus ones here, 26, 27, since they're on the screen there. Educated. I don't know. That sort of almost goes with wise for me, because like there's such a varied amount, or that one sort of goes with wise for me, because there's so many different ways you could be considered educated. Whether that's degrees or job experience or certificates or just life. So I don't know. Educated's a tough one. 27 I really do like, and that's non-judgmental. I really do appreciate someone that's willing to go into any kind of a situation without any, prejudging or being judgmental about not just situations but people.
Yeah.
Like, make your judgments based on, actual facts and experiences you directly have.
Correct.
That's sort of what someone that's non-judgmental I think would do.
And I agree, because we have the whole world to judge us.
Right.
At least, somebody that's close to us, like that, it should be non-judgmental.
Right. Exactly. So let's do the same thing. Let's jump over to the men's list. Best qualities in a man.
And a man.
So I think we'll see a lot of crossover here. Number 1, loving. Number 2, trustworthy. Now, trustworthy was not on the women's list.
Nope. They're not trustworthy. They're
kind, respectful. I'm just going to keep running through that one. Kind, respectful, honest. All traits that were on both lists. Dependable. A lot higher on the list for a man than it was for a woman. Kind of interesting. Loyal. Not on the women's list, but on the men's list. Loves me for who I am.
Black men don't cheat.
What stereotype is that? Loves me for who I am. So I think that sort of goes, loving, in love. That's in that same, spectrum.
You know what? Let me touch on that for a little bit, because many a time there's been many a times I have been involved or have been around conversations of women dogging men because they feel like they don't love them. They may have gained more weight, lost hair, body change, been more moody, whatever the case may be. Because, sometimes women go through different life changes more than men do.
All right.
But my thing is, here's the thing. If I love you for you, even through all your changes,
all right.
If I didn't love you, I'm not going to be there.
Right.
And so it's just like, I feel like that is a strong point for men that I don't gather that women really understand is if we're not really there, we're not really 100% invested in you, why do you think we're there? It's not because of sex. It's not because of a good lifestyle, because we can struggle and take care of stuff on our own. Sex, we can become hoes or just pleasure ourselves. Like, it's not because of that. It all boils down to if we really love you for who you are, whether you gain weight, lost weight, gotten shorter, taller, bigger, whatever the case may be, lost hair fell out, have your original teeth, don't, whatever the case may be. We love you and for who you are. And I think that women need to stop like saying, oh, well, you don't love me. No, dumbass. I love you because I'm here. I'm in love with you and I'm still here. Like, stop doing that. Stop it. I love you for you.
I think that does happen, but I also think that there are a lot of men that stay in a situation because it's easy or convenient in certain aspects, even after they're not in love with the person anymore. I think that happens a lot. And sometimes you can fall back in love.
Yeah.
You know, you could fall in and out of love and you can stay together for the relationship. But I think sometimes, you know, men sort of just stick around because it's the easy path. You know, she does her thing, I do my thing, and, you know, things that she does helps me out, things that I do help her out, so we're just going to...
let it be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I
think, and, you know, like most things, you know, there's a path in here for everyone.
Yeah.
So...
And from what you said, there was a older couple that I remember talking to, and the guy said the trick to having a not a trick, but the one thing to having a successful relationship is neither one falls out of love at the same time. Because if you fall out of love at the same time, then there's nothing worth fighting for. If one falls out of love with the other, then that's when the person who is still in love with the other person do all that they can to make the person remember what was the reason why they fell in love with them in the beginning, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And so, but you know, there's a two-way street with this. You know, sometimes people do it out of comfort, and then there's other times where like men really do love the person for who they are,
Right.
And sometimes the other individual just to wake up and realize that.
Sure. Yeah, I agree. Yep. Number 9, thoughtful, responsible, faithful, appreciative. There we go. So instead of thankful, they put appreciative on this list. Dedicated. That's an interesting one. Dedicated to what? You know, doesn't that sort of just mean responsible?
In a way.
Yeah. Good listener.
Is this on a men's list?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Patient. Good communicator. Yeah. Hardworking.
Good communicator. Men are good communicator, good communicators, but I feel that sometimes when men communicate, the recipient don't feel or understand where the man is coming from. Like, he's communicating. It could, you know...
Yeah, I think the way that men communicate, the way that women communicate is different and sometimes incompatible with each other.
Yeah.
Without a little bit of filtering. I think that gets us in trouble sometimes when accused of not being good communicators.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hardworking, clean. Okay, come on. Clean is should be a baseline standard here. Sympathetic. There's moral again at number 20.
Higher up on the list.
It is. Yep. Smart, confident, down to earth. I'm surprised that was on above 25 on the men's list and not on the women's list.
Yeah.
That would be, if I had to think of which side would have that complaint, I would think that complaint would happen more about women than it would be about men.
Correct.
So I'm surprised by that. Number 24, employed. He got a job.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. Number 25, easygoing. Yeah, that makes sense. And then a couple bonus ones here. Calm, generous, and the last bonus one, good kisser.
Yeah, that pretty much
interesting.
Sums it up for me. Hello? Okay. You caught me in the middle of recording. You should be. How was the movie? Oh, rude. Whatever. How was the movie? Are we still asleep or awake? Oh, okay. Okay, baby. As you yell out, you're asleep. All right. All right, y'all be careful. Bye.
Yeah, so I think that was fun to compare those two lists and sort of see what some of the other trades are. We'll put the links down in the description if you want to see the full lists and see if you disagree or agree with any of the ordering on those lists.
Yeah, that was definitely interesting.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
I pulled a third list for us to go to tonight, and I titled this segment of We Can All Be Petty Sometimes, and it was some petty historical feuds. But I think we'll put that one back in the hopper, and we'll pull that back up for a future episode.
Womp, womp, womp.
Anything coming up for you this week?
Oh, yes. I actually have something to just say, just another week.
Oh, right.
The kids go back to school on Monday.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, back to school for both kids.
That's exciting.
Oh, yeah. Aubrey is looking forward to it. Aiden is hating it. But Aiden has 9 classes this year. And he gets to go to each different class and learn how to use his navigational skills to explore the campus, get to class on time and stuff like that. So it's going to be a new challenge for him. But I'm fully confident that he'll be able to get it done and with no problem, with ease.
Right. That's fun. That's middle school. That's the first time you get to do those different classrooms, moving around, and all that kind of stuff. And that's really how it is for the rest of your life. So
pretty much.
It's time. Yeah, nothing really for me. I got a golf lesson coming up Sunday evening. Nothing going on next week. Bowling's over now. Got an itchy nose. Yeah, bowling's over now, so Wednesday nights are freed up now, which will be good for the podcast. That means I can get some extra podcast work in on Wednesday nights. But other than that, just kind of cruise control for a few more weeks here through the summer before I get ready to before I get ready to head out to Denver in a few weeks here.
There you go. All right, that's a wrap for today's episode, ladies and gentlemen. Until next week.
Follow us on all the social media. That's Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, TikTok, at Life with Dan and Lewis.
That's once again Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, and TikTok with Life with Dan and Lewis.
Video episodes are now available on YouTube along with all our previous episodes in their audio-only formats. Also on YouTube or wherever podcasts are available. Check them out. We hope to see you all there. We'll be back next week with another episode. Until then, check out our new limited series, The Spotlight. New episodes will be coming in between weekly episodes of Life with Dan and Lewis throughout this season. Thanks for listening today. More episodes can be found wherever podcasts are found on our YouTube page and on our website at lwdl.buzzsprout.com.
Once again, that's lwdl.buzzsprout.com.
Until next time, ask yourself, what have you done today to help someone else? Make good choices.
And love one another.